Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Trân trọng kính chào toàn thể đại chúng cũng như tất cả quý khán thính giả trên chương trình Sakya Buddha University TV. Hôm nay ngày thứ Tư có 3 nghiên cứu sinh, đó là Mai Lưu, Mindy, Đinh và Phuc Nguyen sẽ bảo vệ luận án thạc sĩ trước học Phật giáo. Giờ này mời đại chúng niệm Phật cầu gia bị. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Mời đại chúng ngồi xuống và chúng ta bắt đầu.
I respectfully greet the Venerable Professor and audience. Good evening, everyone. Today I would like to share my theory with everyone about the title, The True Nature, Reality, or Comparison Study, Diamond Sutra and Vimaliki Sutra. Before I talk about the thesis statement, the inspiration for this thesis comes from a personal question. What is the nature of the reality and how can we live according to it? In research to answer this question, this thesis statement, so I turn to Diamond Sutra and Vimalakiti Sutra. I have chosen this topic for comparison because two sutras, two different in form, both power address the core challenge of the spiritual life and dualistic thinking. Both teach that emptiness is not a passive void, but a dynamic route. From this compassion, wisdom, and freedom arise. This understanding transcends the material and ego center worldwide and comparative society living earth to a wreck or boundless and interdependent nature. The teaching in this sutra are not abstract philosophy, but remanded for the fans of clinging to a impermanent and separate self. Now let's learn about the core concept of the Diamond Sutra and the Vimalakiti Sutra through the research process. In the literature review section, I have drawn the following conclusion. In Diamond Cutting illusion of Zen Master Thích Nhất Hạnh, percent intervene at the living expression of the emptiness. Emptiness, he teach, is not an annihilation, but the recognize that everything exists in connection. Nothing stands alone. Everything arises with and through everything else. To understand the interbeing, is to cut through illusion and open the door to wisdom and compassion. Interbeing, thích nhất hạnh, acceptable term to Suyatha, emptiness, and anatta means non-self. Affect the truth that one is made of all, and one is made of all, and all make one possible. A flower cannot exist by itself, depend on sunlight, rain, access, soil, and countless conditions. As the Buddha said, the exist because that exists. Its phenomenon arise through a web of a cause and condition. Particularly samuppada, and those cause them depend on order. This interconnection arise reveal that what we call a self. It's just a temporary configuration of the five aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. To look deep into the flower is to see the entire universal. It is inter with the sun, cloud, and earth. Its existence is not independent, but the relationship interbeing is not a philosophical attraction. It is nature of reality at foot, dynamic, and alive. When we realize this, we stop see ourselves as separate and no longer treat others as fundamentally order. Compassion arise natural, because your suffer is not separate from mine. Thích nhất hạnh, thích that this is inside help both personal and collective. Separate when we rely from connection rather than illusion. Fear, anger, and isolate began to dissolve. Liberation is not individual. It is dissolved. Liberation is not individual. It is mutual. Understand interbeing. Dissolve the root of violence, injustice, and ecological destruction. To the truly free is to awake to all being. So in short, thích nhất hạnh. Sorry. In short, thích nhất hạnh translate profound teaching emptiness and depend original sin into the way of living that is in great compassion and healing. Interbeing is daily lived experience of emptiness, where the love and insight arise together like two wings of the same bird. chưa qua được nét lại coi. So that talking about the role of the Bodhisattva and non-duality. In Paramita Sutra, they have one very special pay it form is emptiness is form. At past, the non-dual nature of reality, Kazuki Tanahashi, in his translation, captured it in inseparability due the term of boundless, work that evoke both emptiness and infinity relationality. He paid form it infinity. The infinity is form. In fact that form and infinity are not separate, but mutuality penetrate. The insight avoid the common misunderstanding of internet as void or nothingness. Emptiness here refer to an absence of inherent. First, identify all the phenomenon arise differently. Nothing exists in isolation. What we call self is no more fit than a wave on the ocean. It arises, fades, dissolves. The conception boundary between self and other subject and object are revealed as illusion. This non-dual reality is not abstract. It transforms how we live. When we see through separateness, compassion arises naturally. We recognize that well-being of others is inseparable from our own. This is the heart of the Buddhist path. Wisdom and compassion follow together. A Bodhisattva deeply understands emptiness, yet remain fully ingrained in the world for the benefit to all beings. They act without ego, serve without seeking reward, and liberate order. Why no? There is no fixed self or order to be liberated. The sutra say he developed the mind of enlightenment without grasping at anything. The Bodhisattva like a dreamer who know the dream is unreal. So, yet respond to suffering with love. Compassion like emptiness is boundless. The Bodhisattva help without discrimination, like rain falling equally on all fields. True, knowing all beings are empty. The reason the response to suffering at real because the illusion of separateness have dissolved. They embody wisdom not at detachment, but at intimate presence. In this life, the Bodhisattva become a living bridge between ultimate and conventional truth. Their light teaches us that emptiness is not withdrawal, but fully engagement. As the sutra says, Bodhisattva is light and illusion. Not because they are deluded, but because they are free from delusion. In all times of conflict, division, and ecological quit, the Bodhisattva idea offers a radical vision for living to meet the world not with kindness or escape, but clarify and love. Whether as caregiver, teacher, or activist, Bodhisattva serve without ego, act with courage, regardless of the outcome. Thích Nhất Hạnh once said the next, Buddha may take the form of communicate enlightenment. It's not individual attainment, but collective awake. Return to present moment, practice mindfulness and compassion without clinging to a separate self. Warming, flexible, fearless, and tender. Bodhisattva light the path not to show up their own life, but to guide others through the darkness with love. In short, Thích Nhất Hạnh and Tanahashi both offer profound mental pieces inside, inacceptable and vivid terms. These sentences offer not only a vision of reality, but also a radical and healing way of living rooted in Buddhist teachings. I have the compare table summarize Diamond Sutra and Vimaki Sutra, but to conclusion, emptiness is the radiant, dynamic basis of all things. Reality intervenes, transforms suffering into wisdom. The Bodhisattva path is living liberation, not escape, but fully present. Both sutras offer not attract answer, but give gateway to the truth. The Bodhisattva idea is not to escape the worst, but to serve it fully without clinging. Bodhisattva light the path not to show up their own life, but to give the order to the darkness with love. In emptiness, interbeing, and non-duality are not escape growth from the world. They are doorway into deeper, fear, and more compassion living. The teacher reminds us that walking is not to withdraw, but to engage with fearless love, wisdom, and compassion as imperseparable. So let me take this opportunity. Would like to express my deeply gratitude to Venerable Thích Huyền Châu and all my professor for this program, and especially thanks to the teacher at the faculty Buddhist study Sakya Buddhist University and the Vietnamese Buddhist program, where I have had the honor to study for past 6 years. Without your support, I would not have been able to read this marathon. In today's presentation, if I have made any mistake or failed to express the meaning of sutra, please welcome everyone correct. I would greatly appreciate your guidance. Thank you, and everyone.
Thank you very much. So we'll record the grades and then ask some questions.
And if I may interject, Mailu has done an original research on comparison of the Diamond Cutter Sutra and the Vimalakirti Sutra on 4 dimensions. I think she left out her research questions, and that was on the true nature of reality, emptiness, non-duality, and the Buddha-Sava path as found in these 2 sutras.
So I had 2 questions. My first one is, how did you decide to choose these 2 sutras?
I'm sorry, Professor, can you repeat your question?
Why did you choose these 2 sutras?
Why do I choose this topic?
Huh?
This is like an inspiration for this thesis statement. This is like a personal question, because I have to this compare, because the 2 sutras have in different form and both powerful address the core challenge of spiritual life, how to overcome ignorance, and also like attachment and the duality thinking. So both this emptiness, not passes, void, but direct route from with compassion, wisdom, and freedom of right. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have an example from daily life about how you put the teaching into practice?
For my daily life,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, normally when I come to the temple to learn the sutra, I learn a lot from every order, like venerable. But there is some form, it go in my mind. Sometimes it's I get angry or feeling, the poem just come up and help me to come down and healing for so. And I also think about impermanent, like life too short. We can happen like go any moment, even like a minute or so. I just keep trying my best to be practice. So like I say, impermanent is the bell for us to awake. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions from the panel? You have a question?
Hello. I enjoyed your presentation, and I applaud you for dealing with such a profound and difficult topic. And of course, I wish to know more about your method of comparison. I'm sure you did a lot of work there. But anyway, we don't probably have time for that. So the question I want to ask you is, if a bodhisattva only study either Diamond Sutra or Vimalakirti Sutra, would the bodhisattva be able to realize emptiness and become Buddha or not? Not both of them. No time. Bodhisattva is too busy helping others. Here's one bodhisattva, very busy. So has only time to study one. So.
Yeah. I have a table for compare between Diamond Sutra and Vimalakirti Sutra. So for non-duality, so for Vimalakirti offer they in chapter 9 from Venerable Thích Huyền Châu, they have a 31 as a story about the disciple of Buddha. So each of them give us opportunity to learn from what been happened by that time. So that like many come with everything asked about non-duality, but when they ask back to Vimalakirti, he's become silent. That the point is the work go not like go beyond the what is it like a yeah, not like
beyond expression.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so the second question, because you did such a wonderful short presentation, so we have more time to ask the second question. So you said in the Vimalakirti Sutra, it talks explicitly, means very clearly, what non-duality is, right? So what is non-duality according to Vimalakirti Sutra?
Okay, yeah.
Can't be silent, right?
Yeah. Like example, like a Bodhisattva, when they help other beings, they don't, based on that, they help that person. They do because they love everyone equally. So like a rain falling to every field, we get the rain equally. So hope that answer your question.
Thank you. I like that. I need that rain. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll take a short break before our next presentation. So very good job, Miley.
Good evening, distinguished guests, the most venerable Thầy Huyền Châu, the principal of the university, the Sakya Buddha University, and all the other honored venerables, and my professors, my classmate, and honored guests coming today. Tonight, this evening, my name is Mindy Dinh, as known as Bhikkhuni Chenlam Tet or Chenlam Shi. And I would like to present the Lotus Sutra, humbly presented the Lotus Sutra, the most influential and very important sutra that have the worldwide impact to Buddhism. Firstly, before getting into this Lotus Sutra, we will go through the Amitabha Sutra, the first preaching of the Buddha before getting into the Lotus Sutra. In that sutra, the great solemn Bodhisattva asked the Buddha that when did the Lotus Sutra come from? Where did the Lotus Sutra, where will the Lotus Sutra come to? And where will the Lotus Sutra stay? The Buddha replied, the Lotus Sutra comes from the Buddha home place, which means the home place of the Buddha is the great compassion. And those who practice the Buddha first is the Sarvaka vehicle, and the other is the Pratitya Buddha vehicle, and the last one is the Bodhisattva vehicle, will receive to this Dharma after reaching liberation. And the Lotus Sutra will stay with those who are Bodhisattva Viravana, which means with those who have the Tâm Bồ Đề. May I speak in Vietnamese sometimes? Yeah. And for this, the next slide, I would like to just present briefly the core concept of the Lotus Sutra. And we will have the chance to travel around the world because this sutra is very well known and very respected for worship by people and the Buddhist followers all around the world. So this statue is in India. And the Lotus Sutra in here is the sacred scripture of Buddhism, which has 28 chapters, compilations that express the ultimate truth of life. And the main points of the Lotus Sutra, we will have 4, which makes us to memorize. 1, the sutra key message is everyone can attain Buddhahood. And that state of wisdom, compassion, and courage. 2, the one vehicle, which is the vehicle of Buddha, which means everybody will attain Buddhahood if we follow the teachings of the Buddha. And the third, the other 3, Sarvaka and Pratitya Buddha or Bodhisattva vehicle that we mentioned in the previous slide, which are another methods of Buddha that Buddha preaches in this Lotus Sutra, that is more belongs to the Hinayana Buddhism. And the Buddha have the one vehicle which represents for the Mahayana Buddhism. And we will continue to know, to understand the whole things about it. And the third things about it, the Buddha lifespan is the Buddha lifespan is immeasurable. His Dharma is applicable, unchanged through eons. Eons, which means uncountable lives, uncountable number of the existence of the universe. And the fourth, which is very important that I would like to talk about it, I mean, the transformative power of faith and sincere belief and devotion. Can unlock the path to enlightenment. This, I practiced the whole life, more than 50 years of life. So I understand and I approve that is correct, because in Buddhism, we don't have the faith, the truth, the belief, the strong belief in Buddhism. Then it's hard to achieve anything when we practice all the methods. So, and the symbols of this Lotus Sutra, the first thing is the oneness of cause and effect, significantly the cause of aspiring to enlightenment and the effect of attaining it. And the secondly is the purity of Buddhahood blooming in the midst of sentient beings, ordinary lives, and just as the lotus blossom in the muddy ponds. And the final goal of the Buddhists is to achieve enlightenment and nirvana. So in this Lotus Sutra, there's a thing very important that Buddha mentioned. That is, in teaching and guidance others towards enlightenment, Buddhas recognize that different individuals possibly need different approaches. That is why we know that the Buddha approved that the Buddha has 84,000 Dharma doors, accordingly to the levels of the followers. And Buddha, through his life, he has 300 times preaching until the last day of his was, he is 79 years old or 80 years old when he deceased. And for this slide, I would like to bring all of you to the place where Buddha has this Lotus Sutra preaching. It's called the Vulture Peak in Rajya, India. And Buddha is the main person that we mentioned about. In this Vulture Peak, the Buddha teaching all of his followers that we are in the road of death and birth and death and afflictions. The Buddha teaching of the three vehicles that I have just mentioned before, the Sakya, the Pratyeka Buddha, and the Bodhisattva, and those were only means to guide sentient beings according to their capacities. Because all of this belonging to the Theravada, which the highest achievement that they got is the Arahat level. But for Mahayana Buddhism, it's just a little bit different. We will practice more in order to achieve another level, which is harder. But the ultimate goal was the one vehicle, that is to become the Buddha like him. And this is the things that I will be mentioning here: the goat, the deer, the ocean quartz, which is in the chapter 3 or 7, which means when the Buddha sees that the house is about to be burning, so he called out outside, saying that outside there was the cart, which has the goat, with the cart would have the deer, and the cart which has the oxen, waiting outside, so that all the children inside of the house should be running out to play with such carts. And this is just the symbols of all of those represents the sentient beings' lust, agonized, and all the bad things. And so they got, the burn, the fire, is represents for such a thing. And so the Father is just like the Buddha, called them out, call up those sentient beings out in order to get rid of being burned. That is the symbols of this. So the goat, the deer, the oxen, carts, or all the things that we mentioned, the Sravaka, the Pratitya Buddha, and the Bodhisattva level. And the one vehicle is the ultimate goal is for the Buddha enlightenment achievement. And this slide is also related to the slide that we have just talked about. You see that the stages is very small, but in the Lotus Sutra, it says that there were countless arhats, deities, dragons, heavenly kings, Bodhisattva, Buddha, learned and unlearned people from countless worlds attended. Why? Because that's the extraordinary miracle from the Buddha. So there's thousands of people, but actually it's more from the spiritual world attended in order to welcome the Lotus Sutra, which is considered as the great sutra in Buddhism. And in here, I quote the thing happened to when, at first before preaching, suddenly the Buddha emitted a ray of light from the white curved between his eyebrow and illuminated the universe throughout the east quadrant. This means the Buddha is about to expound the sutra of the great vehicle, which is the Lotus Sutra from Mahayana, called the lotus flowers of the wonderful Dharma. So the Lotus Sutra is considered to be the last stage of Buddhist history. And we know that from this vulture pig Raja in India, it's the story of the Buddha Sakya Muni was assassinated one time there, but he didn't have any things harmed at all. And this slide, I would like to introduce to all of you the impact of the Lotus Sutra, its influence through China, through Korean, to Vietnam, to a lot of countries. And this temple is called the Inyakuchi Temple in Kyoto, Japan. And this temple is the place where the training ground for a number of outstanding priests, including Honan, 1133 to the year 1212, founder of the Pure Land sect of Japanese Buddhism. This is a very important fact because the Lotus Sutra, spread through from China through Japan, and Honan built up this temple, and very well known. And this place used Lotus Sutra as a teaching. So we know that Japan has the Sri-Ran sect. It's from the 1173 to 1262, founder of the true Pure Land sect. And then Dachi sect, which from 1200 to 1253, founder of the Soto sect of Zen Buddhism. And Nichiren, in the year of 1222 to 1282, founder of the sect that bears his name, and protested to the government of the time that only belief in the Lotus Sutra could ensure the welfare and salvations of the human society. So in brief, the Tendai is the Tentai school, also called the Lotus School, found in China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and used the Lotus Sutra as their main Buddhism teachings. This is we just traveled to Japan, and which is from India to Japan, and now we go to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. And because I worship her for my whole life. And so that's why I take this picture from the very well-known place in China. There's a mountain called Imei, which considered as the residence for Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. And because in Lotus Sutra, there's a chapter just only for Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. So I take these two pictures to talk about anything related to her. We know that Avalokiteshvara has the 12 great vows, and the Buddha said to all of us, noble ones, if there were countless hundreds of thousands of billions of living beings experience suffering and agonized, wholeheartedly called her name, Huan Yin or Quan Thế Âm Bồ Tát or Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva or Canon, then she would immediately hear the cries for help, and all of them would be free from sufferings. And I know this is true. You know, when we talk about religions, if we don't mention the faith and miracle, then it's something missing. And when I worship her, I worship is unconditional because I just love her, because I just need a friend who don't like to eat meat, who don't like to kill. And so I just see in her that compassion, and I have the sympathy from worshiping her. And this is the methods of meditations, just because I was the one who worshiped her and respect her so much, and so that's why I know this. But regularly we go practicing some other things, because all of the temples around us offered meditations like of Theravada that we just learned, and some other times of meditation, just of like Thầy Nhất Hạnh or from others monks from another country. And I went all through all of those. So that's right. I recognize which one is the best for me, and maybe for some others. And here I mentioned the Avalokitesvara's meditations methods, and I found some of them just like the meditations of like Vipassana, right? Because it has mentioned something like this. First, the complete contemplation, or tiếng Việt mình gọi là chân quán, which means looking deeply to understand the ego or non-ego or egoism, tức là looking into inside of us, right? And secondly is the great wisdom's contemplations, tiếng Việt gọi là thanh tịnh quán, true and pure contemplations, which is almost like Vipassana, right? Because, and then the third one, loving kindness contemplations, which is mentioned by Thầy Nhất also, right? Tiếng Việt gọi là từ quán, tức là metta, karuna, mudra, and loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic, and joy, and equanimity brought to the people who practice it. The fourth is the compassionate contemplation, or tiếng Việt, we called it bi quán. People wish to bring peace and happiness to others and to themselves as well. And the fifth, the last one, is the vast wisdom, incalculable wisdom, which we call quảng đại trí huệ quán. This one requires a lot of practice, and I know that it's true because first it provides the wisdom to know the mind and actions of all living beings. The second is wisdom, provide the wisdom of knowing the karma of all sentient beings. And the third one is wisdom of mysterious truth of all Buddha's teaching. This requires a lot of practice. And we know that all of these methods is almost like the power we got from thiên nhãn thông, thiên nhĩ thông. I mean the eyes, device, all of those things that mentioned, but that's a lot of practice and requires a lot of factors involved, like good karma, good roots, a lot of things. And that is for the Avalokitesvara, Bodhisattva. I just have only 2 minutes for each, and so that's why I need to make it quick. So if we mentioned, when we talk about the Lotus Sutra, then we just went through the slide of the Japanese temple. That's just a very well-known temple where they where we call this a Pure Land Buddhism. They apply that concepts of Lotus Sutra. And the Pure Land Buddhism have the cornerstones of faith, vows, and practice. Why do we have these three? The faith is a faith in Amitabha Buddha, vows to rescue all of us who recite his name, as well as faith in our own self-nature, and vows. Our determinations to be reborn in the Pure Land in one's pure mind. And practice is reciting the Buddha's name to the point to where one's mind and that of Amitabha are in a single-mindedness. So in its totality, Pure Land reflects the higher teaching of Buddhism as expressed in the Avatamsaka Sutra. That means mutual identity and interpretation. And this Pure Land Buddhism has the method that we called it the simplest method contains the ultimate, and the ultimate in fact is found in the simplest. And this, I would like to recommend it to all those people who are old age and weak, because we need the power supported from the Buddha, and only the Amitabha Buddha who is believed the strongest Buddha, who has the vow to help all of us when we die. He will take us to his land. So the only thing that I recommend to us right now is to recite his name, Namo A Di Đà Phật, or Namo Amitofo. Right? This is very, very, before when I was young, I think it's just something just for kids. I don't believe much in it. But now when I'm getting old, practicing lots of methods, and I just recognize that this is the one which is worth to mention. And it comes to this slide where I would like to summarize all the teachings, the core concepts of the Lotus Sutra. In here, we know that the Buddha teaches the Four Noble Truths, which is being born, old, sick, and death, are our afflictions, right? Everybody, all the sentient beings' affliction. And the 5 aggregate subjects to clinging and suffering, the 5 fundamental components that make us an individual existence, like form. And if we're talking about form, we have the physical factor related, just like our body, the eye, the ear, the mouth, the tongue, the nose, the body, all related to the sight, which is for our eyes, and the sound for ears, and smell for nose, and taste for tongue, and the tangible objects for the body. And then also the feeling and sensations and perception and mental formations and consciousness. All of these are mental beings. And the 12 dependent originations describe the interconnected cycle of cause and effect leading to suffering and rebirth, with ignorance at the root, old age and death as the consequence. So, and the other things that we all learn, and that it sounds simple, but it's very important. That is the Eightfold Path, which are the right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentrations, with the concepts of giving rise to direct knowledge, would lead to peace, to enlightenment, and to nirvana. And the noble Eightfold Paths will lead us to the cessations of suffering. So, in brief, the Lotus Sutra core teachings mention all of these 3 things. First, the universal Buddhahood. The Lotus Sutra asserts that all beings, regardless of their backgrounds or circumstances, possess the potential to attain Buddhahood, the state of enlightenment. And the second thing is the one vehicle that we have mentioned too many times, that the concept of the one vehicle suggests that all paths and practices lead to Buddhahood, includes those of the Sravaka Yatna and the Pratyeka Buddha Yana. And the third thing is that I mentioned this thing maybe a few times already, in the Lotus Sutra, which is very important that people can write it as a book. It's about the skillful means or expedient means. What does it say in the Lotus Sutra. It just would like to tell us the concept, the thinking of the Buddha, that towards enlightenment, Buddha recognized that different individuals possibly need different approaches in teaching and in guidance. That is the core concept of Lotus Sutra. Now, in the Lotus Sutra, all the 3 chapters that I would like to talk about is Avalokitesvara, that we have just gone through, and now the Medicine Buddha, which is I respect the most. And I think there's a lot of miracles, unbelievable. So I talk about the Medicine Buddha. The Medicine Buddha, his name is Sakya Guru, is highly respected and worshipped in Mahayana Buddhism, particularly in Tibetan Buddhism, known for his role as the healer and compassion protector against the illness and suffering. Mahayana Guru means a master of medicines. He is the Buddha of healing for physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. The Medicine Buddha is depicted seated on the lotus throne, and with the left hand holding a bowl, and the right hand resting on his knee, holding a stem of herb with healing properties, and between his thumb and the 4 fingers. The Medicine Buddha brings good fortune and longevity. This is what we believe in. And the Medicine Buddha mantra is powerful for healing and purifications. He is relied upon in times of sickness, pain, suffering, and for the dying and deceased also. So we used to chant like Tayata Om Bekanche Maha Bekanche Rancha Samukate Soha. That is in Tibetan, and in Vietnamese we have the mantra saying that just so I forget. Thầy có một câu đầu tiên của Nam mô Bà Già Phật Đế Bệ Sai Xã Lục Rô Thích Lưu Ly Ba là Bà Hát Ra Xà Giả Đát Thai Ra Tha Ha La Hát Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bột Đà Gia Đát Triệt Than Bệ Sai Thể Bệ Sai Xã Tam Mộ Ít Đế Đó Ha. Thưa, tại sao con đọc cái này là tại vì the reason why I recited this one because I believe in it 100%. I chanted every day, and a lot of miracles that I have never thought about. Because when I pay my homage to the Buddha, it's just unconditionally, but just because of my respect and my love, nothing. But from chanting every day for years and years, I just recognize that a lot of miracles, unbelievable, cannot say. So that is for the Medicine Buddha. And the last one that I like the most also, in this one, only the monks and nuns in Mahayana Buddhism will know what I'm talking about, because we chant it in any ritual, important ritual, for the 10 vows of the Samatha Buddha. Nhất giả lễ kính chư Phật, nhị giả xưng tán Như Lai, tam giả quảng tu cúng dường, tứ giả sám hối nghiệp chướng, ngũ giả tùy hỷ công đức, lục giả thịnh truyền pháp luân, thất giả thịnh Phật trụ thế, bát giả thường tùy Phật học, cửu giả hằng thuận chúng sinh, thập giả hồi giai hồi hướng. Thì we have all of this in English, but we don't chant it inside of the temple, so that's why I talk in Vietnamese. And this is the very important ideas or things happen in this chapter is the Samattabha Buddha asked the Sakya Muni Buddha, after the decease of Buddha, who will be the successor of this Lotus Sutra? And the Buddha replied, those who attain the four dharmas. What are they? The first is being blessed by the Buddha. The second is planting the good roots, which is hard, right? Too many years. The third, having right concentration, especially being in samadhi. And the fourth is dedication to save all sentient being. That is very important factor of all the Buddhist practitioners, because we got to do the dedications all of the time. Then whatever we receive would maybe triple or 1,000 times more than what we dedicated. That is what I think, but I think it's true. And another fact worth mentions is Samattabha vowed that he would protect and help those who have faith in chanting this Lotus Sutra. And he represents the wisdom of equality. So I just have through the 10 slides that I'm allowed to in order to talk about the Lotus Sutra, which is only within the 10 chapters, but with the Buddhas that we, in Mahayana Buddhism, we see all those Buddha in the temple. And this is the end of this. And I would like to say thank you to all of you. Thank you so much, deep respects, with my dedications in life, whichever I have done, all dedicated to all of you with my deepest heart and wishes, good wishes to all of you. Thank you so much. And last but not least, I would like to thank you so much to professors and to the venerable, the most venerable, Thầy Huyền Châu, who provides the program for us that we have the chance to learn more about Buddhism. So that's why after this, I think I will follow all the courses of Thầy Huyền Châu in Vietnamese also, so that I can know much more better. That's what, because I didn't have time much of that, so I could not go for both program. But I know that Thầy Huyền Châu preaches very good, very, very profound preaching, and I like the most. I like very much, but I didn't have time yet. But after this course, yes, I will attend his teaching. May I thank you so much, everybody. Professor also for leading us to know more, to have more knowledge about everything. So I appreciate it very much also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shuko. So we'll work on the grading and then we'll ask some questions. So I had a couple of questions. One is, in terms of practice, do you chant the sutra regularly or do you read it regularly? How do you practice with the sutra?
Yes, may I share this with all of you, because this is wonderful. This is great to me. But I think it will be adding with karma and the good roots of people who practice it. But this is the way that I practice. I chant the sutra, and it counted by the bits of 108 times. So if I chant the mantra, just like the mantra I have just chanted with all of you about the Dược Sư, the medicine Buddha, so each of that chant will be just only one among the 108 beats. And if I do like this, at least one day for 108, if I don't have much more time, because if I have time, I got to change the other also, which is very powerful, and it will take few hours just for chanting, using the 108 bit, yeah, and unbelievable. I think this the sutra, when you chant the sutra and you do the mantra, also, it's just like inviting the other worlds coming. Yes, I know for sure that it happens, and I was so scared few times when they come, and I know that, oh, if there's anything happened, I could not resist it, and I could not help myself. I need to have a master who is powerful so that he or she can take me out from some problems occurred if I do it wrong. If I invited them coming to our place, to our world wrongly, then unbelievable, we cannot get out from it. And the bad things is it will make us becomes abnormal. That will happen. I'm so scared too. Yeah, and it is the truth. I don't say it for imaginations. No, not at all. Yeah.
And my second question was just, how did you first start getting connected to the Lotus Sutra?
Oh, you know, because in the Lotus Sutra, there's the chapter just about just for the Kuan Yin, the Avalokitesvara, which is the Buddha, the compassion Buddha, compassionate Buddha. And I chanted that chapter since I was very young. I just about 14, 15 years old until now. And the most important thing is not chanting that in the temple or at my place, but I chant the sutra and I do the mudra. And each time at least 108 bits. And when I did it, just because I love her, I do it unconditional. I didn't pay for, oh, if I do it like this, and please give me such and such. No, I didn't. But unbelievable, when things happen, you just know that that is a miracle. And I cannot explain it by words unless it's got to be through the practice. Then you will understand it. Yeah. And that practice requires a lot of other things. That mean you got to have all the good factors and good karma and good roots, everything. A lot of things involved. Yeah.
Other questions from the panel?
You spoke of these different steps to be followed in the meditational practice.
Yeah.
Are they supposed to be followed in a chronological manner, or it depends on the participant?
Talking about meditations,
Right.
there's a lot of things related. I dare not talk in depth because, you know, each person who practice meditations will achieve a different level, and so sometimes cannot understand the other level at all. And the way that I practiced for years, because I practiced martial art of the Shaolin Shaolin Kung Fu. And so I just recognize one thing, that when I do meditations, I sit correctly and I hold my breath correctly, then my health is very strengthened. And it proved by when I go to the martial art practice, just only, like the other, got to use the muscle from the arms in order to make the other opponents falling down. But no, for the one who practice meditation correctly, just only one touch enough to make that person falling down. And that I agree, and I would just think that it's so amazing, because I have a chance to practice with those who are Japanese monks and Chinese monks from Shaolin Temple. Unbelievable. You have the strength coming from breathing just in and out, just like everybody else. But your strength, your health is so strengthened. Unbelievable, because it goes through the main channels of all of the points in your body, and it opens all, and it makes you not sick or getting any disease or sickness at all. And for the other level of spiritual practice, I cannot say, because each person achieves different level, and that is more towards the spiritual levels that we ought to talk about. We just proved it. So you are in India. You know that there are a lot of this, just like the living saint who could do a lot of miracles, right? A lot of unbelievable things, right? Yeah, that requires a lot of practice also. Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
And that is, how is complete contemplation different from compassionate contemplation?
Contemplation?
You mentioned that in the steps.
Oh, contemplations with compassion. You know, when you get into, when you call it contemplation, which means at least your spirit, the other word of yours are already calm. So that's why you can contemplate, otherwise you cannot. Because at that time, whatever in your mind, it is very calm, and it's so easy to help you breathe in and breathe out and achieve the, you say that the environment, not only outside, that you can manipulate it, but then inside, you can control yourself also. And so it just comes naturally that you just feel very relaxed, very calm, very loving towards everybody. And for sure that you will feel so satisfied and feel so relaxed, and that's why you can contemplate. That's a contemplation. You will see the beauty in you yourself also, right? And the beauty of everybody outside. And so that's why you extend your compassion, your loving kindness to all of those people. And the most important things I would like to say about this is, when you achieve the very strong contemplations from meditations, your radiations can expose to the other people. So if that person is very strong, when you sit next or close to that person, you will feel so calm. You will feel so nice. You will feel at ease, everything, because thanks to the strongness, the strength of that person. So it helps.
Other questions?
I just want to express my appreciation, Venerable, for bringing us the blessings of Sadharma Pundarika Sutra, or the White Lotus, and Medicine Buddha, Beshaya Guru, and Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. These are very important figures in Tibetan Buddhism. We follow the Nalanda tradition. We have Medicine Buddha Sutras, probably you know. And we believe that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a human incarnation of Avalokiteshvara. So this sutra is particularly very important for us Tibetans. For the sake of time, I just want to express my appreciation and rest my case there.
Thank you so much, Professor. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Suko. So now we'll take a short break and then the final presentation for the evening. Thank you.
Good evening, Master and Venerables, and good evening, Professor, Doctor, and good evening, everyone. So my name is Phuc Nguyen. So today I will present the thesis with the title Comparative Exploration of the Middle Ways as found in the Kachanagota Sutta and the Lankavatara Sutra. So here's the table of content. So background research problem and research questions and methodology. And the finding, I have 4 questions: Kachanagota Sutta, the Lankavatara Sutra, and comparative analysis, and conclusion. So the middle way is a core to Buddhist principle, often understood as avoiding practical extreme, such as sensual indulgence and self-mortification. So yes, usually people always think about avoiding those 2 clinging. But in the 12 link, we have 4 kinds of clinging. So first, clinging to the sensual pleasure. Second, clinging, we clinging to the precepts or rituals. And the third, clinging, we clinging to the views. And the final clinging, we clinging to the theory of the self. And so today, this thesis will explore is the deeper philosophical interpretations concerning extreme, like notion and existent and non-existent. The middle way is maybe different from what you know about the middle way, as usual. So for the research problem, Kachanagota Sutta is a small sutra in Samyutta Nikaya, but it's very powerful because it's brief sutta, but it carries the profound content. Many contemporary scholars research and explain the sutra over and over all the time, even right now. And even Nagarjuna, Bồ-Tát Long Thọ, he cited this sutra in his very famous text, Mula Dimakakarika. It's a foundation of the middle way school in Mahayana Buddhism. So it's proof that this small sutta is very important. And also another scholar, Kalupahana, he suggests that the whole entire Nagarjuna's philosophy is explanation for this sutra. However, I at least in my limited finding, I don't see any scholar compare the middle way in Kachanagota with the middle way in Mahayana Buddhism, because they always think that the Mahayana, the middle way in Mahayana Buddhism is from Nagarjuna, but actually Nagarjuna ignore that. Yeah. And so today, this research aim to bridge the gap. It means I want to compare the middle way in both traditions, especially middle way in Kachanagota and the middle way in Lankavatara Sutra. So to delve into the problem, the comparative analysis. So I have four research questions. The first, how is the middle way interpreted in the Kachanagota Sutta? So the middle way, the term middle way is always mentioned implicitly in this sutta. And the next question is how is the middle way interpreted in the Lankavatara Sutra? This is kind of different from the above because there's no the term middle way in the sutra, but the idea of the middle way is everywhere in the sutra. And the next question, what are the key comparison between these two interpretations of the middle way? And the last one, how does the Kachanagota Sutta compare to the cite version in the Lankavatara Sutra? Because some people say that this sutra is in Lankavatara Sutra, and that's why I skeptical about it and investigate and compare to figure out how they are different or not. So the methodology, I use two methodologies. So for textual analysis for the two research questions, and comparative analysis for the third and the fourth questions. So for the first question, how the middle way is interpreted in the Kachanagota Sutta. So the context at Savatthi, Kachana asked the Buddha, how is the right view defined? And the Buddha just give two situations that most of the first one, dualistic views, he said that most of the people in the world depending on dualistic. So, and the solution to antidote with dualistic views, so he mentioned that seeing with the right understanding. And seeing with right understanding the condition arising of phenomena, the view of non-existence or nihilism does not happen. And seeing with the right understanding, the condition, sensation of phenomena, the view of existence, internalism does not happen. And the second one, for the second situation, he mentioned that we, because we attach to the self, we cannot see phenomena arising or passing away of phenomena. So he mentioned that we non-clinging to the self. And in the end, so he mentioned the middle way by just list all the 12 links that this is origination and cessation of the 12 links. And that's why some people don't understand why he mentioned middle way by just repeat of the 12 links. So before I delve into explain how the middle way is how middle way is explained in this sutra, I will explain the source of error leading to extreme. Like you see, the contact with ignorance. So let's take a look at the 12 links. So this is the 12 links. So we just focus on the present. And the contact with ignorance. why I mentioned the contact with ignorance, because when people contact with ignorance, they don't know. So when, according to the sutra, when contact with ignorance, the thought of I am will occur. It means, and and the contact in a condition leads to sensation, craving, and grasping or clinging. So to understand this, so I can give the example. For example, for like 10 years, like when I drink coffee. So I mean, like 2 years, like 10 years ago, I don't know how to drink coffee. But when I developed the habit of drinking the coffee, and I developed the habit of the drinking coffee, and then when I drink it, for the purpose of drinking coffee is just staying awake. But after that, when I drink coffee, I didn't know about I am drinking. I just do something else. And you think that is very normal, but that is ignorant because you don't know what you are in contact with. Even like you feel uncomfortable feelings or anger happens, but you think, oh, someone or something, but actually something maybe you don't look into inside of you. Maybe something inside of you have something wrong, and the contact with the body contact, and you don't recognize that. That's maybe the cause give to the anger. So that's the example for a contact with ignorance. And and every day we have many contact, our sixth sense contact with the external world. So we have so many contact with ignorance, and we don't know. And day and moment by moment, hour and hour, day by day, your ego become bigger. You don't recognize that. That's the problem, yeah. And that's how we into the samsara. Oh, sorry. And to back to the sutta. So in this sutta, the Buddha just giving very short explanation about the right view, just like you see, seeing with right understanding and non-clinging with the self. Actually, right understanding, in Pali is sammapanya. I forgot to put the Pali words in there. I'm sorry for everyone. And that right wisdom is the highest, it's the advanced level of right view. Because like I mentioned earlier, when you contact with something, you don't recognize what you are in contact, and that gives you trouble. And then if you develop the right view, seeing with right understanding, you will see what it is cause and condition. That's why you don't cling to the view or extremes. And as you can see, we have two kinds of right view. Conceptual right view, that we learning, reading Dharma in words, so whatever. Or we can say that's a theory. And for the next one, experiential right view, seeing the Four Noble Truths depending origination. That is the right view that Buddha mentioned in the sutta. Because if you recognize the cause and condition, of course, you don't cling into extreme, or you don't even cling into the self. And the middle way, how the middle way is explained in this sutta. So it's very simple. So remember, we have Four Noble Truths, suffering, and cause of suffering, and sensation of suffering, and the solution. So the middle way in Theravada tradition is the Eightfold Path. Just whenever the middle way actually don't eliminate one of the 12 link. The middle way is just know that which condition arise and pass away, because the nature impermanence. Everything is impermanent. For the next questions, how the middle way is interpreted in Lankavatara Sutra. Compared to the sutra, Kachana Gota Sutra, the middle way in here is not mentioned explicitly. And for the context, at the mystical Lanka Mahamati, the Bodhisattva Mahamati asked the Buddha 108 questions to explore Mahayana Buddhist thought, ranging from fundamental concept to the practical spiritual discipline. And to discover how the middle way in here, so we start with SAR leading to extreme. And the main foundation in this sutra is the mind only. According to this sutra, all phenomena experiences is nothing more than what is perceived or manifested by the mind itself. It teaches that independently existent external world, separate from consciousness, does not actually exist. What we perceive as an external objects include form, body, property, or described as appearance or objectification rising from the mind. This appearance is generated by discrimination and accumulate habit energy from the beginning, less time. The sutra regularly compared these appearance to illusions. That's the foundation of this sutra. So this concept, the five Dhamma, is in general, the five Dhamma is a classification system to about how we perceive the nature of reality. So we can take a look on a table. So the appearance we see is refer to which present itself to the sense. For example, like a sense, form, shapes, or anything that we can perceive through your senses. And next one, name, is referred to the concepts or name given to the appearance. So for example, like you see the flower, and the term flower in English that you assign to the flower. Actually, the flower, the words, is not the flower there. It's just the label. And the next one is discrimination. This is the mental function that arises based on names and appearance. It involves making distinction, determining things based on name. This is mine, this belongs to mine, and clinging to these distinctions as real. As I mentioned earlier, because this is discrimination. We base on appearance and name, and we think about the term flower is a flower, but it's not the flower like you see outside. So, for example, it's so simple to understand that when you get angry at something, even you listen to the words about someone, you still get angry, even the people is not here. All right? That's the discrimination. And right knowledge. This is a correct understanding or wisdom that perceive the true nature of things. It's recognized that names and appearance, being mutually conditioned, are ultimately unobtainable and unreal. So this is close to this. We recognize that everything is interdependent, interconnected. That's a higher level compared to discrimination. And the last one, suchness. That's the ultimate goal for Buddhism. This represents for ultimate reality of the true nature of the things as they are in themselves, beyond names, appearance, and discriminations. So next we should review into three nature. That's a very important concept in this sutra. And false imaginations. This from highlight the role of our imagination in the constructing our understanding of reality. It reveals how our perception can be illusory and how we tend to project our own interpretations onto the world. And the second one, dependent relative nature. This is the relative knowledge where the existence of things is understood to dependent on other things. It's a kind of scientific knowledge based on analysis. And the last one, perfect nature. This is the perfect knowledge which allow one to truly see into the nature of existence. It's come from transcendental wisdom. Now this is very important. Source of error leading to extreme. Why we cling into the extremes? So in this sutra, there's a lot of pair of opposing extreme. It's just be like a being, non-being, existent, non-existent, eternalism, annihilationism, samsara, and nirvana, and so on. A lot of a pair of opposing extreme in the sutra. And so here is the structure to explain how we cling to the extreme. Ignorance set the state, discrimination and false discrimination and false imagination arise, creating a distorted view of reality. Habit energy reinforce these distortions. And this cycle, like going on and on, as make us get into samsara. So to understand this, ignorance is mean in this situation. It's mean we don't understand the nature of reality. We don't understand that that everything is interdependent, interconnected. We attach to like in a permanent self or inherent or a permanent self or something like lasts forever. That's ignorance. And this is always get along into discrimination, false imaginations. And the connection between discrimination and false imaginations, discrimination that's we clinging to the self, and false imaginations that we based on the attachment to the self, we develop the something relating to the self. For example, like I mentioned earlier, the coffee. I drink coffee, and I think the coffee that can make me feel satisfied. And after that, whenever I see the coffee, I immediately think the coffee will make me feel pleasure, even I don't drink it. That's a false imagination, because we cling into discrimination, and the next state of developing is false imagination. And then when you develop those action, it's become the habit, and the habit reinforce it again and again. Is this habit energy reinforce ignorance, and ignorance will like feed to the discrimination and for imagination, and the cycles going on, going on, going on. And like I mentioned earlier, the middle way in this sutra is not mentioned directly, but the very important, the skillful means. That's the important concept in the sutra. They use in this sutra, there are many doctrines like mind only, emptiness, non-duality, and Buddha nature. According to this sutra, all of them is the skillful means. Depending on the Buddhist practitioner or depending on the audience or listener, they have the different way to present, the different way to mention, different way to teach the middle way. So for example, mind only perceive reality as a projection of consciousness and is entitled to realism. So for example, for someone, they always think that the external world, they tend to attach to the external world. So this help them, oh, that's it, the external objects that you attach to, it's just the manifestation in your mind. It's not real, it's just illusion. That's gonna work for those people. And emptiness, all phenomena lack inherent existence, and it antidote to the substantialism. For some people, they think emptiness is mean empty, but actually it's just the critical tool to help us don't attach to the self, don't attach to the world, or don't attach to the subject or object, because even the subtle thinking, very subtle in your mind, oh, I think that's still the self. And the emptiness that help us antidote to the thinking, oh, the self, I think, I, the word I, inside of our mind. And non-duality, transcending all binary opposition, or subject and object. It's look like the same, the emptiness, because a lot of people in meditation, they think, oh wait, they think like there is non-self, it means there's nothing, there's no self. But that's this is the extreme, because when they think about non-self, the non-self, that's a concept. And you stick to that concept, and you think, oh, it's empty. But this, the attachment to the concept of non-self, that is still the self. So that's the method. It help those people eliminate their attachment. And Buddha nature is like encouraged for everyone to practice Buddhism or meditation, because for some people they are fear of non-self, they fear of the concept of non-self, suffering, impermanence. They don't accept that. So this way can give those people hope to practice Buddhism. When they reach the highest level, self-realization, they're gonna understand those just the skillful means. And for this self-realization, this is the ultimate purpose of this sutra. And here's some feature of self-realization of a feature of self-realization. So first, direct and intuitive grasp. So self-realization is not the intellectual understanding, but a direct perception of the truth. And next one, transcendent wisdom. It involves awakening of special kinds of wisdom and knowledge that go beyond limitation of logic and language. It means, so do you, if you are Buddhist or whatever, you always know that the Buddha say that in 45 years, I never teach any dharma, even a words. It's very conflict because we have a Buddhist scripture, but why Buddha say that? So this one, that's the Buddha want to mention, logic and language. And inner experience, this realization is something that happens within the individual, is a personal transformation of consciousness. Non-dualistic understanding and self-realization leads to the overcoming of dualistic thinking. And realization of mind only, a key aspect to the self-realization in the Lankavatara Sutra, is understanding that the words as we perceive is not ultimately separate from our old minds. And for the third questions, comparative analysis, Kachanagota and Lankavatara Sutra. So the framework. In this sutra, the dependent origination is a foundation. But in Lankavatara Sutra, is the mind only. It means it's the mind only. Everything is just the manifestation of consciousness, even the word external or external object. And the extremes, like I mentioned earlier, notion of existent and non-existent, and extremes in Lankavatara Sutra is like multiple various extremes. Here just a short list of the extremes, like existent, non-existent, being, non-being, samsara, and nirvana. And the sour, why people cling to the extreme. Ignorant-based sensory contact leading to craving and clinging, that I mentioned earlier. And the sort of the error leading to the extreme in Lankavatara Sutra is ignorance, discrimination, false imagination, and the habit. I also mentioned earlier. And the ultimate of this sutra is the right view as the non-clinging experiential awareness. And the ultimate goal of this sutra, Lankavatara Sutra, is the self-realization as a transcendence state beyond all views. For the last questions, to answer the question whether the Kachanagota Sutta is cited in this Lankavatara Sutra in a section or not. So let's delve into these questions. So both in my finding, I found that the shared ground that's the both sutra implicitly mentioned to the rejection to the extremes, like existent and non-existent. And here the table to compare. The first is the place, the context. This is very clear. Savatthi. That's this is a real place. And mythical Lanka. Yeah, Lanka is the Sri Lanka. That's the real. But like other Mahayana Buddhism, we always put the mythical, like spiritual power into Mahayana. So this way they put the mythical Lanka. And the framework, they are totally different. The framework, the principal foundation is dependent origination, and the Lanka is mind only. And for in this sutra, we mentioned to not attach to the self, but in that sutra, we teach not attached to nihilism. It means nothing, nothingness. And in this sutra, it's for Ravaka, it means Arahat, or for personal liberation. For in this sutra, Bodhisattva is for the people who practice the Bodhisattva path. So therefore, after I compare those features, and I conclude that they are not identical. Yep. For the conclusions and the future research. So the Kachanagota Sutta, the middle way is direct insight into dependent originations. So as mentioned earlier, the ultimate of this practice is we can observe the phenomena arise and pass away. And even the 12 link or Four Noble Truths, we see that arise and pass away. That's the purpose. And in the Lanka, the middle way is implicit outcome of realizing mind only, emptiness, and non-duality. The comparison between the both texts, the middle way is the method to see the reality as it is, instead of falling to dualistic notion regarding the world or ego. So this could, after my research, I recognize that the middle way is just not like a practice to balance of two sides or to avoid to sensual indulgence or self-mortification. It's not just only that, but at the deeper level, even the middle way is to help the practitioner to see the reality. That's the middle way. And the weakness, and so for my weakness of the thesis, I heavily rely on the English translation of Suzuki, who translate the Lankavatara into English. And I just use only his translation. That's my weakness. And to be honest, I want to use the Lankavatara in Chinese or in other language, but I can't because I don't have time or I cannot find those version. And for the future research, comparison analysis between Vipassana, meditation, and Zen Buddhism. So based on this research, I figured out that the Vipassana and Zen Buddhism, there are so many overlap. Maybe they just different at the beginning stage, but in the end, for my opinion, both of them are the same. And a comparison analysis, Nagarjuna's philosophy with the middle way found in the Samyutta Nikaya. So the Kachanagota Sutta is not only the sutta mentioned about the middle way. We still have like other sutra mentioned about the middle way. So if we have time, we're gonna compare the middle way with Nagarjuna philosophy. Why? Because the Nagarjunas live in the temple that have Mahayana monks and non-Mahayana monks. It means probably he could be influenced by the Theravada tradition, and that how when we compare his philosophy, we're gonna recognize that his sutra is very Theravada tradition. It's not just Mahayana tradition like we usually think. That's my opinion. So I might finish my thesis. Thank you for everyone.
Okay, as usual, we'll take a few moments to do the grading and then we'll ask questions. So I had a question. Can you say more about, I forget the name of the sutta, the SN 1215? Right. Can you say more about it? Like how long is it and what is it? Give more detail about the sutra in terms of how long is it or what's it about? Yeah.
Yeah. You mean talk about history or? How?
Like I haven't even looked at it myself, so I'm just curious. I can't look at it because I don't have my phone on me. Is it very short? Is it medium length? Is it long? Yeah, 12:15. Yeah.
Yeah, 12:15.
Right. How long is it?
It's just very short. Just this one.
Right.
Very short.
Right.
I am guaranteed very short. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Right.
But I think it's very short. Yes, I remember it's very short. Yeah. Well, I look at all the time.
Because I'm very curious, because I've already, as you know from the class I taught, we went into the Samyutta Nikaya and we looked at many discourses inside of the Nidana Samyutta, which is SN 12. But there's always more to go, and I haven't yet even myself looked at this one, so I'm very curious about it. So that's why I was asking. Yeah. But you picked this one because of seeing it being quoted by Nagarjuna first.
Actually, I accidentally find the sutra when I'm like doing your project. I just accidentally find it. Oh no, it should be.
Okay, so you found this discourse first.
Yes.
And teaching middle way, and then that made you want to compare it with the Mahayana text.
Yeah, when I found this sutra, and interesting, and I just Googled it, and I figured out, wow, it's Nagarjuna also used this sutra, and a lot of scholars like Bhikkhu Bodhi and
Thanisaro.
Yeah, there's a lot of scholars. They keep going and explain, and right now I go into the forum of the Dharma. I don't remember the name of the website, but they still explain this sutra, a very long one. The sutra is very short, but explanation like like maybe more than 20 pages or something.
Right.
That's why I'm yeah.
So that's great. That's amazing. You just through exploring the Samyutta Nikaya, you found this, and then you just kept digging deeper, and it took you further and further.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Other questions from the panel?
I'll just
looking at the time.
I will limit myself looking at the time. Just to respect you, I'll ask one question. So you said you compared these two sutras, and you talk about how middle way, what it means, right, is different. So if I understood you well, in the Lanka Avatara Sutra, pretty much it is explained in terms of Chittamatrin school of thought, mind only. So it does deal with all kinds of dualistic things, right? So wouldn't you say so that the extremes which are dealt in this Dilush Sutra are included in that mind only already? Right? Because this one only talks about existent, non-existent, and that's it, right? But that one has samsara and nirvana and I don't know what other things are there, right? So don't you think it just overlaps somewhere?
Yes, you say yes, it's the same, but but like I mentioned, the skillful means for different people, they're gonna use the different word to explain for them. Like I mentioned, emptiness. For people attached to like the self or something like behind of everything, like the self or the ego, the emptiness that helps them eliminate that attachment. Yes, that's just skillful means. Yeah.
That's a good thing to stop the emptiness.
Right. It's a good stopping point. Yes. Okay. Well done, Phuc. Good job. So that's our final presentation. So we'll have some final words from Master Nguyen.
Xin cảm ơn ba vị nghiên cứu sinh đã có cái bài bao về rất là tuyệt vời. Chúng ta hồi hướng, xin mời đại chúng đứng lên. Chúng sinh do biên thể nguyện độ phiền não vô tận, đoạn pháp môn vô lượng thể nguyện học, vô thượng thể nguyện thành. Ngày mai chúng ta còn 4 vị nữa vào lúc 6:30. Cảm ơn quý vị.